Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you all could join us. It's been a wonderful week, and the extremely heat has been beating us up too. Some at work. I know you work in a air conditioned place. Thankfully, I work at home, so I'm thankfully blessed to have that. But
Yeah, and 2 weeks ago we had a heat wave,
yes,
and it wasn't no hotter than this. But now we're not having a heat wave.
and we were
It's
pretty
not.
much outside all day today, and we got a lot accomplished. But now I look like a tomato.
Yeah, me too. But mowed the yard today, and then it rained this evening, so that'll last about 2 or 3 days.
And then it'll go back up.
Yeah.
But today's topic is very interesting. I think we've touched a little bit on maybe our previous podcast about UFOs.
Yeah, but we said we'd save it for another time, and I think now's the time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's been a lot of talk on UFOs, anywhere from government released new files to military encounters. They just came out with a movie called Disclosure, and that's something we watched a couple weeks ago, or was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? So it's I think UFOs is always going to be a hot topic. It's not going to be something that just goes away or fades away. Somebody somewhere is always going to be talking about it.
Yeah, and even the government has, for 70 years, they told us it was bull.
Hmm.
And now they're saying, okay, it's not bull. We know these things exist, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's like
And I watched the
surprise.
latest ones, and they are actually some in there that are pretty interesting. Uh,
Yeah, but you know what though? What is the one main thing that really is something that's on people's mind is, especially because United States is a Christian, well, country. I mean, that's the main religion is Christianity. So how does that correlate between Christianity and this UFO? I
well, I
mean,
mean, they just say it's demons, and
well, that's what we were taught, that it's demons, it's nothing, but I don't believe that now. Too much proof that it's something else.
yeah, and if you even go back in the Bible and you go in the Old Testament, and the church the church has evolved into what they are today. It, it wasn't originally that way, and what they taught then wasn't what they teach now.
Hmm.
So in the Old Testament, there was like 3 or 4 different gods in there that was masked as one God called Yahweh. In the actual Hebrew writings, they're under a different name. So back in those days, anything they seen in the sky, they either referred to them as gods, even go as far back as the ancient Mesopotamia
Hmm.
Samaritan text. They refer to them as the Anunnaki, and
Well, the main UFO, I guess you could say, encounter that the Bible mentions that a lot of Christians are familiar with was when Elijah saw a wheel in the middle of a wheel.
yeah, but he
So,
actually wrote in that thing.
right. So, but
You know,
that's the only UFO I think
well, there's a lot of them.
supposedly that Christians are familiar with.
Yeah, but if they look, there's a lot of them. I
I
mean,
mean, if they read.
UFOs today, what do most people report? Lights. So if you look back then, it was light, or some of them look like fire. Uh, that's the only verbal thing they knew how to do. And I mean, look at Moses, a burning bush. Now, was it, or was that all he knew how to describe it?
Well, yeah, exactly.
But this angel, which is nothing more than a messenger, we don't get where it's from. We just get a messenger from somewhere else is talking to him. And Actually, that is where Yahweh goes as far back as Mesopotamia. And here's what was hard for me to swallow, but if you want to go do the research on it, go do it. It's there. Yahweh never become Yahweh until Moses. Before then, it was multiple gods: El, Elohim, uh, just a bunch. And the original name for Yahweh come out of Midian, which meant storm god. That's what it meant.
Hmm.
And it's kind of interesting that Moses went to Midian to take a wife. And then when he came back, Yahweh's it. That's where he had to encounter the burning bush and all this and all that.
Which is what is described in the Old Testament.
Right. So, but if you go on down through there, a lot of them seen lots. A lot of the prophets, the reason they were called prophets were because they could always do something that nobody else was capable of. They had some kind of supernatural ability, so they called them prophets. So you go on down to Elijah, even Daniel had experiences with lights. There's all kinds of appearances with lights. And you go to Jesus's day, Luke is the only one that tells the story about Jesus's mother being a virgin. And an encounter happened there with an angel that told her she was going to have a son, but it don't say who that angel was or who he's from. Uh, an angel just means messenger, is all it means. And a similar situation happened with John the Baptist's mother. Same situation. So both of those two had kind of supernatural abilities.
Yeah.
So Luke is the only one who mentions that in the Bible about the birth. The rest of them never mentioned that at all. But you go back, it wasn't nothing new. They believed, I didn't realize they had a mystic belief separately, and they believed in these things. They seen them, apparently all the time. I mean, you take it back to Alexander the Great, he claimed that his father was Zeus, that he was a supernatural being.
Yeah.
So the story was there the whole time. So is it possible? See, Jesus, what I'm getting at here, was Yahweh in the Old Testament a different race of alien? Was El a different race of alien? Because when Jesus, every time he mentioned God, the meaning behind that, if you want to go search it, is F something. It's well, it means creator. Uh, the what it means every time Jesus used that word, it meant creator. The God that's in the heavens, or the God that's above, it meant creator. And every time he said that, that's what he meant. In the Greek meaning, it meant creator. But it got transformed into something else when it got translated to English and Latin. It just
Sounds like it spiraled out of control
well,
from
I
there.
mean, it translated to one word, and uh,
But if you were to explain this, this way,
but
you would get a lot of backlash
my point
because
is,
people fail to do the research.
do the government actually really know, and they understand what these things are?
Of course not.
I think they do. I think they do, and they're just giving us little bits of it at a time. I think they know and
So you
understand.
think they know their capabilities?
Oh, I absolutely do. I absolutely think they know who they are, what they are, and know what they can do. And they're releasing it to us. And they were probably told to do that,
What, just as a warning?
to release it a little at a time, a little at a time, a little at a time. Uh, I firmly believe there's too many sightings now that they can't hide. Number one,
Well, yeah, because everybody's got
so
a phone in
so
their hand, so
they're back
somebody's going to get something.
they're backed in a corner. I firmly believe they understand what they are. They might not fully understand what they are, but they know what they are and they know what they're capable of. But my point being is, okay, could Jesus been one of those people, like an alien hybrid cross? Could that be possible?
It's possible.
Because he made a comment, and I really didn't pay attention to that until like yesterday, where I think it's in Matthew chapter 7, where he said, yeah, it's Matthew chapter 7, 9 through 11, where Jesus asked the crowd, which of you, if your son asks for bread, will give him a stone, or if he asks for fish, will he give him a snake? Okay? All these years, I never connected this until now. Okay, where else did that happen in the Old Testament?
I can't think of where right now. Sure, if I
It happened when the children of Israel, supposed children of Israel, were in the wilderness for 40 years and complained and wanted, they were hungry
yes, and they wanted.
and they wanted food, but God sent them serpents instead of food. So, and he actually said, I'm going to send you serpents and make you understand you're going to worship me. Now, Jesus said, if your children ask for food, are you going to give them food or are you going to give them a serpent like he did?
Right.
So that tells me that the God then wasn't the real one.
It wasn't like the God.
It wasn't the God. I didn't see that till like 2 days
If
ago.
if you really read and study the Old Testament, they talk about God, you know, with the armies and the wars and things. It just, God killing people, dropping them dead. I mean, just things like that. It's like if you really, really stopped and thought about that. I mean, come on, something doesn't seem right.
But it could
What
be,
God are they referring to
it
that we
could be,
think that they're referring
it
to?
could be right if they're not referring to a God and they're referring to another alien race. That dude could have said, yeah, kill them people. He could have very well said that. That's what I said. I don't think, and I get in this argument daily with the guy I work with because he's a pastor, thinks he's knows everything,
Well,
and
sure his congregation does
and
too.
I've questioned that multiple times. How I said if we done that today, if the government, whoever the government was then, and we do that today. Say if the United States went into a country and just wiped it clean, men, women, children, infants, everybody. What's that called today? Genocide.
Genocide.
So was it not called that then? How do we get around that? But is it possible that governments of the world know this? Is it possible that they know that was a different alien race doing this, and a different alien race over here, and a different alien race? Is it possible that they know that? and that the real creator don't go that route.
Right.
Because I'm not so far gone that I mean, this Earth didn't poof into existence. I don't think just all of a sudden, just by accident and a big bang, just poof, and here it is. It's a creation,
Exactly.
and so something created it. Now, who exactly created it? I don't know. I don't know who. I know it's a supreme power or some kind of supreme thing, but do I know what that is? No. Do I know who that is? No.
I do believe it is something good.
Oh yeah, I do too.
100%. I
That
believe it's something good. It's nothing bad. It's nothing evil. It is good. It is a
that
God that is good.
that's the reason I think they know that they may be different ones, and if the different ones come here, they could do that,
Oh
and
yeah.
we would be defenseless. I mean, basically just defenseless. And but you go all the way back through time. I mean, you go in the Old Testament and even read other writings outside of the Bible. These people in the Bible actually called them sky people. They seen something, but the language then they didn't know how to say that. I mean, how do you say, "Hey, there's something up there"? I mean, and all right, let's go back to Jesus's day, where the 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 three the three wise men or kings or whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
All they knew, they seen something in the sky and called it a star. Well, back in that time, they called everything stars because they didn't know what planets were. They didn't know what it. All they knew they were stars. But now, apparently, this star was low enough to the ground to guide them to a certain place. Low enough, pointing here. Here it is. I mean, any normal star, if it's bright or not up in the sky, it ain't gonna lead you to a certain place. So apparently, it guided because it said they followed it.
Yeah.
So it had to be moving. So it had to be low enough to guide him or guide them people to a certain place. So, and I missed that too. And I don't know, I might tell this story. Uh, Back in 2010, I walked totally away from the organized institution I call the church. Uh, 42 years in it. And one Sunday morning, I got up and I walked out. And I remember telling you, I'm going to the car. You can come if you want. I'll wait. And it wasn't but a few minutes later, y'all was there. And after that day, even when I walked out and I stepped outside that door, it's like I was changed. I could see things I couldn't see before. The burden was gone. If I read the Bible, I seen things that wasn't there before. It was like the scales just dropped and I could see it. I don't know how to explain that. And I'm not telling you not to go to church, but I'm telling you, you got to be really, you better really pay attention to what they're teaching you. I will say that. But on that hand, is it possible that the government does know? That they do know what some of them are capable of doing? Some of them might not do that, but some of them might do that. And there's been cases of documented facts of alien abductions. Now, are there hybrids walking around today? I don't know. I don't
Really
know. I
don't
mean,
know.
if they got the ability, I mean, there's enough documented cases to say yes. They are. So why would they spend all this time trying to hide it and say you're crazy if you think you've seen something? And now they're saying, okay, we know these things out there and we're going to start releasing things. I think they're releasing it a little bit of the time, to build up to some kind of point.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that whatever's going to happen don't really, it's almost like an expectancy of the people.
but the religion end of it, uh, they're expecting, Jesus to come back, the religious end of it.
Well, yeah.
And that might very well be true if he's of, wonder if he was an alien, wonder if he was a hybrid. And I know, I mean, if I said this in the church, I'd get blackballed to the door. Uh, but wonder if he was. Well, I mean, he taught in a way that was different. He
We really can't
distanced
say whether he was or
he
not.
distanced himself from the Old Testament Yahweh. He distanced himself from the Ten Commandments, or actually, there's no Ten Commandments. In the Old Testament, it does not say that. Man has put that there. Uh, and
So what do you think Jesus was then?
I, was he a hybrid? And he gets into a little bit of it if you read outside the Bible, like in the book of Thomas, in the book of Mary Magdalene. He talks about the Anunnaki
Yeah.
in those other texts.
I think we did a podcast on even the
Yeah.
book of Jesus and some of his
Yeah.
thoughts on certain things, but
But in the book of Thomas and in the book of, there's a lot of other books out there. And in one of them, I have to go back and see which one it is. He talks about those people. And there's another one, and I can't think of the name of it. He talks about them also. And one of them's bad and one of them's good.
so let's touch a little bit about the movie Disclosure. When we saw that movie, my expectancy was definitely a little bit of what I expected as far as the people that I believe that people who have experienced abduction of some sort, you can argue and say, oh, they were just dreaming. Or you could argue and say it's just something that they probably thought would have happened, but it did not. Things like that. But there's been too many people in the United States who have, and even other countries, who've had experience of some sort of abductions.
Yeah.
So, what the storyline of, well, this spoiler alert if you've not watched it, but the storyline is basically just it's about two people who are very unique and they communicate differently. They were abducted, given some kind of
Instruction.
instruction, I guess you could say, um, to follow along in their lifetime. But they had one goal at the end.
And that was
One
full disclosure.
right.
And like I said, is that a coincidence? It, that movie's released at this time.
No, because
I don't think it is.
we kind of even did some research in the background where we had seen an interview where Steven Spielberg has said himself that um, he was asked by the government to direct a movie of such. They
Yeah.
even had informed him of some events, even probably used possibly some real footage.
He said there's some real
You
footage,
know,
but it's up to you to figure out which one's real.
yeah, that's what he pretty much said in the interview. So if you go and listen to his interview, it's very interesting
And he
of what he
said
said.
that, I mean, I didn't see nothing in the movie that would make a Christian disbelieve what they believed. But also, I don't go that full route no more, so I may not be able to see that
Hmm.
now. But I can see that. I mean, the experience we had, the movie theater we went to that night, there was only one, two, three, four, five, six people in there,
Yeah.
and four of them was of her family, and there was a woman and and her daughter. And when it come to the point of like when it got into the religion side of it,
Well, yeah, because there's a part where one of the girls that's in there is in the movie. She is trying to figure it out because she grew up Catholic. So she had that Catholic upbringing. And so some of the things that she was being disclosed of really made her question some things. And so she reaches out to a Catholic nun and
yeah,
she asks the nun, okay, look, you know, tell me, tell me if this is real. Tell me if this is possible, blah, 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 blah. And what does the nun say?
the nun said, if it exists, God created it. The Creator created it.
Right.
So
I think that's probably around the time we heard scuffling back there and
yeah,
they
and
left.
they left on account of that.
you know?
I mean, because I mean, I hate to say it, and if you're listening and you are a church going Christian, take it with a grain of salt, what I say, but you're brainwashed. Bottom line, you're taught from most of us, or in my experience, I was taught from a child up. I didn't know anything else. I was brainwashed. That is called brainwashing. Whether you like it or not, that's what it is. Uh, so, I mean,
The movie was very interesting. It kind of made me feel sad at the same time because it wouldn't put I wouldn't put it past our government to do some of the things that possibly could have happened,
like abusing them, yeah,
abusing
yeah,
them, doing some really heinous acts toward them. You know, it it brings out a different perspective. Of course, this didn't change me because I had already had this perspective. I was kind of like you, back in, 2012, 2011, we kind of just decided like, okay, so enough's enough, something's not right. There is more out there that I believe that our creator wants us to know and understand, and not just within four walls of a church.
yeah.
You know,
I
And
mean,
that's what
and that go,
scares the organized religion, because when you start realizing that and you leave, then so does the money.
yeah.
But, that's a different podcast. I'm
But
just
so I
saying.
didn't realize that until every time Jesus spoke of God, his word at that time was creator or father. So I wonder if his father was alien. And that was what that is. I mean, wonder if he was able to survive the cross and resurrect.
Hmm.
But Jesus never once called himself divine.
And that's where you'll be told you're wrong.
He never called himself divine. There's several statements in the Bible that he never claimed to be a divine God. Uh, Now he claimed his father was. He claimed, and not only that, I mean, he didn't claim that he was divine. He claimed you could connect to the divine. But just the storyline, see, even Paul didn't write about the virgin birth and tell the story of the angel or nothing like that. Nothing. Nobody did but Luke. That was the only one.
So when I Googled earlier and asked if Jesus believed in aliens, this is what Google said. There is no historical or biblical record that Jesus believed in extraterrestrial life. The concept of life on other planets wasn't part of the ancient worldview. Jesus' teachings focus strictly on Earth, humanity's relationship with God, and spiritual realms such as angels and demons.
Which all AI knows is what's programmed in it, and that's usually by Christian people. When it does a web search, it's pulling all that Christian stuff.
Well, yeah, the
But if
theology
you
and things
if
like
you
that.
get out of that aspect of it, they did understand there was something else there.
Well, I mean, and you're right because it furthers it goes on to say many believers and theological leaders argue that Earth and humanity are the unique center of God's creation, suggesting that extraterrestrial life does not exist. And I think that is what something that is scary for the government to admit
Yeah.
because think of all the people.
But see, I think personally, this is my thoughts. I think all governments from the beginning of whenever this place started knew they existed.
It's possible, very.
I really do. Uh, okay, just the serpent thing I said about Jesus. If your child asks for bread, are you going to give him a stone? If he asks for fish, are you going to give him a serpent? Okay, and that even goes back to the Garden of Eden. Okay, is God going to send a serpent to do that? No.
No.
Uh, so he didn't believe all that stuff. And that basically says it right there. I mean, he did not buy that because in the Hebrew text, that happened. And he was using that as a point. You know, hey, them people asked for food of their God, and he give them serpents. And even said, that's all you're going to get until you bow down to me. That's it.
And think about that. Do
And
you really think a God that is that is good would do that?
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, well, think about this for a minute, just for a minute. And really, I got this guy that I work with was really upset because I made this comment the other day. I mean, he really got upset. Just think about it for a minute. If God, whoever you think God is all knowing, then why per tale did he put Adam and Eve in a place? And he knew 100% they was going to do that. He had to. If he's all knowing, he knew 100% they were going to do that.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and after they done it, did he look over at Jesus and say, sorry, man, you're going to have to die 2,000 years later, 6,000 years later. Sorry. No, when all he would have to do is say, I forgive you. I mean, think about that just for a second. And then he had a second chance on the supposed flood to forgive them again, and he didn't. It don't make sense. It really don't make sense. Okay, if you're all 100% knowing, and they their very words were, well, this was set up from the very foundations of before creation. There's nowhere in the Bible it says that. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's an inserted thing. Uh, but now he didn't kill them, but he also didn't forgive them either. It don't make sense to me. why you would place them there, knowing 100%. You're teaching that your God is 100% all-knowing, knows begin, and he
What was
put
his
them,
response?
and you put them there, and they know he knew they was going to do it. It don't make sense to me. So he knew that he was going to do it, and he willingly let mankind suffer up until all them years. It don't make sense.
Really think about it, folks. I
It
mean,
it
really.
it just don't make sense. And I mean, let's go down to Cain and Abel. Well, Cain killed Abel because, and there's no explanation why God never accepted Cain's offering. None. No, in the Bible, there's no explanation for it. Why he refused Cain's offering and he accepted his brother's. So you tell me, is that a God of righteousness and love when your brother comes up and says, "Oh, here's mine," and
he was a farmer, so that's what he
they
had.
they were both farmers. They
Yeah, but one who specified in
one
veggies
was
and stuff.
right, and that was Cain,
Yeah.
and the other one was raised sheep and goats, I guess. And but if you do the research on this and do the timelines even in the Bible, it don't match. It don't match up. I mean, and that really got me to thinking, well, that could have very well been two different races right there. The one that put them in the garden, and the serpent was trying to say, hey, this guy here, he's telling you a bunch of crap. And that's the reason they eat of the fruit. Because think about this, if God is all knowing, he didn't know where they were at.
He's looking for him.
He was looking for them and calling for them. He didn't know where they were at. And the first thing he said was, why you got clothes on for? What's the deal there? And of course, the first thing Adam said was, well, yeah, she give me the fruit and I eat it. But he was looking for him. If he already knew, he knew. And it also said he was walking in the garden.
So that says he was like them.
Yeah, he was walking in the garden looking for them. He didn't know where they were. But there's nowhere in the Bible that says that God is all knowing. That's a Christian evolve there that got inserted in. There's nowhere that says that God is all knowing. Now, whoever the creator is, which I don't know, and if you're claiming you do, you're lying because you don't know either. Uh, you might know how he speaks to you or how he does certain things with you, but you have absolutely no idea who he is. Because when I got up and left that Sunday morning, I mean, I heard a voice in my head that said, leave. My first thought was, oh, that's Satan talking to me. That's Satan saying, leave.
That's what we're taught.
And it kept on getting worse and worse and worse. And I thought, okay, maybe it's not. But see how we're brainwashed to that end. We're brainwashed to believe there's this. Now, Satan may exist. I don't know. I don't believe he exists as the Christian theology teaches today. Because Satan in the Bible was just a adversary. It was not a physical entity. And even in Job, where it talks about Satan, that was an angel or a messenger of whoever this God was at the time. Sent basically he said Job won't deny me, and just like he was like a lawyer. He said, I think he will deny you. He said, well,
Hmm.
go. You can do anything you want to but kill him, and he done everything to him but kill him. But think about that for a minute. Why would God allow someone to go down there, do everything like that, take away all his kids? And I mean, I understand the Christian perspective of that. Oh, well, he restored them. Not them children, he didn't. I mean, you think about that. If you had kids and he destroyed all of them, took their lives, they're you can't replace that.
Right.
I mean,
That's what I'm. Oh, and that's what I was always wondering. I thought, well, he got everything back, but it'd be like replacing my kids. And I'm like, wait a minute,
but
you know.
was that the creator God that did that? Or the creator? Jesus never said creator God. He just referred to him as creator or father. That was it. Nothing in between. That's all he referred to him as.
Hmm.
And then when it got translated to English, all those words got translated to God or something else. But in the original Greek, it does not say that. So, does the government know and understand how powerful these things are?
Well, then they obviously understand more than we think. I think.
I think they fully understand how powerful they are.
And so little by little, they're giving us,
Little bits of
you know,
information because they know
a little bit of
something.
braid.
I think they know something major is fixing to come down. And it may not be a bad thing. It may not be a bad thing. It may just be a thing where, I don't know, maybe their intelligence level are telling them how to do things and make things better. I don't know. I mean, do you think AI really came from humans? I don't. I think they were told how to develop that.
I've always thought that they were created by humans because we're the ones that programmed them into what they know now.
But,
You know.
and we've probably had that technology for years, but who taught them that technology? I mean, you read the book of Enoch, which conveniently got left out, talks about a lot of this stuff.
Mm.
About, and he even called them angels too. Nobody knows what that is. It's a messenger that taught these people certain things. I mean, one of them taught people weapons of war. One of them taught them something else. One of them taught them something else. And you don't know what that means. All you know is your Christian perspective that you've been taught to believe. That's all you know.
It's really hard to think out of the box.
Yeah.
It really is for a lot
It,
of people.
well, I mean, like I said,
It's
I
like,
was 42 years in. It took me, and I still do. It's still in the back of my head. That'll never leave me. What they put in me will never totally leave me because I can be reading sometimes, and I'll say, well, that's like well, no, it ain't. That's what I was taught. I got to separate that now. You know.
right, right. And you have to understand, you know, I've been in it since I was probably 4 or 5 years old. You name it, I've been it. You know, Catholic, Church of God, Assembly of God. You know, almost Lutheran at some point, and
Well,
Baptist. So it's amazing what. But I'm really glad and I'm thankful for my experiences
have
because
you
it's taught me so much.
Have you ever seen something unexplained in the sky?
Yeah,
I think everybody has.
absolutely.
And do you think that's all of a sudden, oh, that's just happening in 2026? No, it's happened all down through the eons of time.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the Mayans wrote about it. They called them sky people too. I mean, apparently somebody was instructing them how to do certain things. I mean, look at it this way: who instructed the Egyptians to build the pyramids? You honestly think they come up with that on their own? And then halfway across the world, pyramids over here were being built? No, I don't think it's coincidence. I mean, I think they were instructing them on how to advance, how to do uh, advance. And look at the Roman Empire. Do you think they did that on their own? No. Somebody instructed them to build waterways. I mean, they had indoor toilets then, bathrooms. I mean, it's almost like we're going backwards instead of forwards.
Well,
And it,
really,
I mean, they had massive state of the art waterways, state of the art bathrooms, indoor plumbing. And, we're taught that just in the last 100 years we've had that here, indoor plumbing and electricity and the whole 9 yards. They had it then. So I'm sure somebody instructed them how to do that.
yeah.
I think
Well,
so.
we're going to go ahead and conclude this week's podcast. And I really hope you enjoyed it and just kind of sat back and listened to what our thoughts were and basically our research and what we've read kind of put together. Let us know what you think. Comment, ask questions.
Yeah, let us know if
You
you've
know?
seen anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always interested in stuff like that. I'd like to see an alien, just to be honest.
Will you please don't?
But,
Don't. We live out in the middle of nowhere.
or I really would.
But I don't believe they're harmful. I
No,
really don't. I just think that they're very unknown. They're we don't know enough about them, which makes us even more curious about them. You know,
I don't think we know nothing about them, but I do believe our government knows.
well, we aren't in. Well, that's what I mean. We know the surface of things,
Yeah,
but to really know, that could be very scary. But just depends on people. Everybody's curiosity is different. Yours is the worst. Mine is not as bad. Sometimes I'd rather not know, but I know you're not like that. You want to know, period.
yeah,
So
I'd like to know. I'd like to walk inside of a spaceship one time just to see what it is.
be careful what you wish for.
All right.
Okay. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful week coming forward, and thank you for listening. Goodbye for now.